When people talk about Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's first leader, one question keeps coming up. Why did some people love him so dearly whilst others wanted him dead? To understand this, we need to look at power, fear, and freedom in early post-independence Ghana. In the 1950s, Nkrumah was a hero. As leader of the Convention's People's Party, he mobilized ordinary people and led Ghana to independence in 1957. At this stage, political freedoms were guaranteed. Opposition parties, free press debate, and active civil society. Nkrumah represented hope, dignity, and African self-rule. After independence in 1957, expectations rose sharply. Kwame Nkrumah pursued rapid industrialization, Pan-African leadership, strong central government, and Ghana was the greatest country in Africa on the rise. Opposition groups, especially traditional authorities, religious leaders, regional leaders, and business elites, felt excluded from the governance structure of Nkrumah. Some of these groups challenged Nkrumah's centralized vision of power. Instead of seeing opposition as part of democracy, Nkrumah began to see it as a threat to national unity and security. Nkrumah increasingly saw opposition not as democratic disagreement, but a sabotage of national unity. This mindset would change Ghana's politics forever. By 1958, in just a year after independence, Nkrumah's government passed the Preventive Detention Act, also known as the PDA. This law allowed the state to arrest and detain people without trial. Politicians, journalists, students, trade unionists, and even former CPP allies were jailed, sometimes for years, without being charged. For many Ghanaians, freedom was disappearing. The justification for the PDA from Nkrumah and his government was to protect the state from coup d'etat and foreign-backed subversions, maintain stability in a young nation. This marked a sharp decline in civil liberty. For many Ghanaians at the time, the PDA turned Nkrumah from a hero into an authoritarian ruler. The chieftaincy institution in Ghana also has some challenges with Kwame Nkrumah and his government. Nkrumah involved himself in the stillment and installment of chiefs across the country. By this time, Ghana's economy was facing major challenges and the economic hardship in the country was getting worse and worse. Many Ghanaians could no longer stand the abuse and brutality of the PDA. Some victims and concerned Ghanaians then began to plan the assassination of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Between 1962 and 1964, Nkrumah survived several assassination attempts. The first attempt on his life was the Kulungungu bomb attack in 1962. Then another major one was the Flagstaff House shooting attempt. These attacks didn't come from nowhere. They grew out of political repression, fear, economic hardship, and the belief among some that peaceful opposition was no longer possible in Ghana. Families saw relatives detained indefinitely. Fear replaced open political participation. Opposition parties weakened or banned. Politics became dangerous, not competitive. There were also economic hardship, heavy state spending, declining cocoa prices, shortage and rising cost of living. And personalization of power also played a role. Loyalty to Nkrumah mattered more than competence. Criticism was equated with treason. For those affected, assassination was seen wrongly but emotionally as the only way out. These assassination attempts were as a result of the PDA and how Nkrumah and his associates were abusing the law. With all the problems that came with the PDA, the icing on the cake was when in 1964, Ghana became a one-party state. Nkrumah was declared president for life. All political parties were banned. The press was controlled, and that is why you cannot find any of the atrocities Nkrumah perpetrated in any newspaper in the early 60s. This deepened resentment among intellectuals, military officers, civil servants, students, and middle-class professionals. In 1966, Nkrumah was overthrown while abroad by the military and the police, with support from the CIA, the British intelligence, and former members of the CPP. There was jubilation from all over the country because the people felt they had their freedom back. In spite of all these shortfalls, Kwame Nkrumah remains one of Africa's greatest leaders, if not the greatest. His development plan for Ghana has since not been matched by any leader in Ghana yet. Nkrumah's story is also a warning to others, one which leaders like Muammar Gaddafi could have learned from. When power closes all peaceful paths to dissent, violence often fills the gap.